Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace, and as you can see, I am playing as a Dagger Ellie. And a lot of you guys were asking about my build, my gear, my rotation, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I kind of figured, why not make a video about it? Now it's going to be pretty lengthy, so for your sake and convenience, I will put a time code, or time codes even, in the description box below. So you can navigate through this video to the important part for you. Maybe the build, maybe the rotation, or whatever the case may be. You can find it down there, so you don't have to worry about it. And I'll start off with a very important question, and that is, why would you use this build with Dagger Ellie? Now, if you like fast-paced combat with little to no downtime, then Dagger Ellie is a very good place to start. And this build only helps it to push it even further. This build has amazing synergy. Not only do you have amazing damage, burst damage and AoE damage, you will also have amazing support in both healing as well as buffing. And you will have amazing sustainability as well as great durability. You are very tough to kill. And this build is brilliant for leveling up, for SPVP, for World v World, and for dungeons. It's pretty much good for everything. You just have to make sure that you have a backup weapon for those moments where Dagger can't reach your enemy. Especially like on walls in World v World and such. But having backup weapons is something that every class should do, regardless. Now, if we continue with the traits, you will initially see that it doesn't look as powerful damage-wise as it in fact is. This entire build revolves around synergy. And once you get the hang of it, and you will definitely see how everything works, you will understand that the amount of damage you can do burst-wise as well as AoE-wise is amazing. Even single target is great. But stick with it, and I will also point out some other options you may have while you are building this. Anyway, 0 points in fire magic, 10 points in air magic, which is one of the fundamentals of this build. Not only if you are leveling up, you have Zephyr Speed, which is kind of nice for walking around, even though at higher levels you have permanent swiftness, or at least you can keep up permanent swiftness, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's all about Zephyr's Boon. Auras grant fury and swiftness when applied. Now we have 2 auras in Double Dagger, so you can basically rotate that, and in addition to other traits you have, you will gain a permanent swiftness as well as a permanent fury. Now boons are very important to this build, so keep that in mind. Because if we look at water magic 30, not only have you got the ability to regen health as well as healing other people while attuning to water, you will also have the ability to attune to water and remove conditions, which is very important, as well as, of course, if you use cantrips, you gain a generation and a vigor boon, which you can keep up permanently as well, because this build revolves around 3 utilities that are both cantrips, or at least all 3 of them are supposed to be cantrips. So another 2 boons. Because if you look at Bountiful Power, deals 2% more damage for each boon on you. Now this is where it gets interesting, because if you are in combat and you're constantly switching attunements and you're keeping your cantrips up, or you're using them, and of course you're using your auras, you will basically end up with a standard of 5 boons, always. And then depending on the people around you and such, you can even boost that permanently to a higher amount during combat. But as you can see, you suddenly have 10% more damage just for buffing yourself, which is amazing, and this can only become better. But my favorite trait is the powerful aura trait. Auras are applied to nearby allies, and this is where synergy comes in quite handy as well, because we have 2 auras. We have the Shocking Aura, and we have the Frost Aura in Double Dagger. And as you can see, the one stuns when attacked, the other one chills. And this applies this aura to everybody around you. But wait, there is more. Because of Zephyr's Boon, you will also grant all the people that are getting your aura fury and swiftness. Just imagine that. You're not only giving them a special buff, which is that aura, which, especially if you think about it in World v World or dungeons and you have Shocking Aura on everybody around you, it kind of, causes some issues for the enemy. But also, in addition to that, you give them swiftness and fury. It's all kinds of nice, and this is one of my favorite traits within this build. But you can even push this further. But we'll keep that for later. And the 30 Arcana is personal preference. Because Evasive Arcana has been nerfed in the latest patch at the recording of this video. It doesn't cause blast finishers anymore. But it does allow you to do more burst damage. It's just that sustainable damage drops a little bit. But we'll get to that in a second as well. To start at the beginning. Arcane Fury. Grant yourself Fury for 2 seconds on attunement. So, due to the fact that you are switching attunements constantly, you have your auras, you constantly have permanent Fury up, which is kind of amazing. You have your renewing stamina, you have a 33% chance to gain vigor on critical hits, permanent Fury, crits, you will have permanent vigor, as well as, of course, due to the fact that you can combine the crits here with cantrip usage due to the soothing disruption, as you can see here. There's a lot of dodging involved as well. Not only are you very tough to kill, you're also very hard to hit due to the constant dodges you are able to do. Lingering Elements kind of speaks for itself. Elemental Attunement, you're giving buffs out constantly. Once again, remember, bountiful power. Very nice, as well as everybody around you will very much appreciate your boons. Arcane Precision pretty much speaks for itself, considering you also have Permanent Fury. And once again, Evasive Arcana. Now, this is where options get a little bit different, and this is my personal taste. I like a little bit more of a AoE burst due to the things that I prefer to do. But the recommended thing to do right now, if you are interested in a little bit more sustainable damage, is you drop 10 points in Arcana and put them into Fire. Now, initially it doesn't look too much. You get some power, you get some condition, you lose some boon duration, which is kind of a pain, as well as increased attunement recharge rate, which I found to be very distracting or annoying. But you do gain the Spell Slinger. Cantrips gain you 3 stacks of might when used. Because this build that I'm using revolves around 3 utility spells that are cantrips, you will definitely see that you constantly will have, you know, the might stacks from this trait, so it's definitely worth it. And then in addition to that, you might be able to perhaps drop some regeneration and vigor here and then switch that to reducing the cooldown on cantrips, which I believe is done by 20% here to Cantrip Mastery. That's a possibility. It's a little bit more sustained. You are better in the long run, but you do lose, of course, your boon duration, your attunement recharge, as well as the Arcane Precision and Evasive Arcana, which allows you to do that a little bit more burst damage, which I kind of like. And considering the fact I'm constantly dodging anyway, due to the permanent vigor, it works out pretty nice. Another option that you have is sacrificing 10 points in Arcana, for example, and not putting them in Fire. Instead, putting them in Earth, which seems to be very interesting. But you get a lot of toughness, you get even more toughness, and also some condition damage. So there is definitely something to gain from that. But what you should or could be doing if you want to go a little bit heavier on support is Elemental Shielding. Remember when I said that you are giving away Fury and Swiftness with your auras? Imagine applying a protection on top of that. So you basically are giving 4 buffs away. The Aura, Swiftness, Fury, and Protection. It's kind of amazing, because in certain situations, those things are pretty nice. You're making them faster, you're making them harder to kill, as well as you're making them more powerful. So overall, that seems to be very awesome, as well as considering that you have 2 auras to rotate around. Definitely worth to check it out. So that is the options that you basically have. I personally recommend my build right here if you like a little bit more burst and like to dodge around a bit. If you like to be better in the long run, so for long fights, then you can use the 10 points in Fire and then switch, of course, based around cantrips a little bit more. Or if you want to go full support, then just apply the earth magic that I just explained and you'll be good as well. Moving on to gear talk. The gear that you want to get for this build is PVT. And the easiest to get on PVT basis is, of course, the AC gear. As you can see, I already transmuted it myself. But it's a fairly easy set to gain due to the fact that AC is very fast to run and very simple to run, as well as you get a lot of trophies. So you can get a full PVT set in just a couple of days. And it's very nice because the Superior Rune of the Monk is one of the 3 runes that you need. So at least get 2 pieces of AC gear and then you can get 4 pieces somewhere else as long as they are PVT based. Also for the weapons, you want to get PVT weapons basically. There's a lot of PVT going on as the main source of your gear. As you can see, I'm still running with rares because I'm mainly focusing my my stuff on main gear first. But get 2 daggers and then put your main dagger, or on top of the main dagger, put a superior Sigil of Corruption, and then on your off dagger major sigil of battle, or do it the other way around, it doesn't really matter. And if you really want to min-max it, get another exotic PvT dagger and put Superior Rune of Fire on that. Because when you have Major Sigil of Corruption stacked out, or stacked fully, I should say to be a little bit more accurate, it kind of becomes useless. Because if you switch it out, you keep the buff. So if you then switch out to another dagger with another sigil like Fire, you can do a lot more damage, which is kind of awesome. But that's really min-maxing, and depending on how much you will go down during a specific fight, it might not even be all that worth it. But then again, you're very tough to kill, so in the end it might just be worth it, especially once you get the hang of it. So those are required for weapons and for your main gear, but there's more because you also have your rings and such. Now for things like rings and amulets and just earrings as well, or the accessories to be a little bit more exact, the recommended stuff is basically cleric stuff, and to be more exact, the sapphire or a calcum ring, amulet or earrings. And there's a very good reason for this, because you still get power, which is very important. You still get toughness or vitality. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a power, vitality, healing power going on, but power, toughness, and then healing power. And you might say, why would you have healing power? Now you already have so much PvT gear going on, and you have so much sustainability that you have that can be boosted with healing power, due to the fact that you have permanent regeneration, of course, with all your cantrips, as well as the fact that you heal yourself and your team members when you switch to water attunement and when you stay in water attunement. That healing power is just very nice and very much worth it when it comes down to your support side of things, while still, you know, becoming a little bit tougher and still getting a little bit more damage out of it as well. Even though some people, if possible, are claiming that PvT might just fit in a little bit better, or they just go for things that are vitality, healing power and condition damage, which also works really well. But personally, I think that power, toughness and healing power in the end might be a little bit more worth it, not just for yourself, but also for your support to your team or to your squad, whatever the hell you are doing. The only exception to all of this is your back item. Your backpack item is still recommended to be PvT with a healing gem. Unfortunately, I don't have a healing gem yet. I got this coral jewel on the Lost Shore event, so I kind of figured why not. But as you can see, I'm running around with a rare PvT gear. But the guild backpack is the most recommended one, because that's the highest one you can get right now. Unfortunately, it's also very, very expensive. So make sure that if you are going to buy things like that, you have the gold to do so. Now, before I go into combat and start killing stuff to show you guys how it basically works, I'd like to talk a little bit about the healing skill, utility skills, and of course the elite skill. Starting off with healing. Now at level 80, if you are doing dungeons or fractals, overall Signet of Restoration is just going to be the best choice you have, due to the constant combat and the fast nature of dagger combat. Now, if you are leveling up or just roaming the world, or anything else besides constant combat, you might find yourself having more use out of Glyph of Elemental Harmony, especially while you are leveling, because not only does it allow you to get a stronger industry heal, you will also get a buff, and if you are still leveling up, permanent swiftness can be a pain in the ass to keep up. So Glyph of Elemental Harmony not only heals you a bit more, but also has the ability to give you another swiftness buff, which allows you then to get permanent swiftness while you are leveling and just running around, which is all kinds of nice. Now the elite skill speaks for itself. The Glyph of Elementals is the best one, because it's the shortest cast and you're still able to do all your dagger stuff while you have a ally on your side, in addition to, of course, your party members. And my favorite one is the Earth Elemental, because it tanks quite a nice amount of damage and also does decent AoE, or the Air Elemental, because it is a ranged elemental and also allows to stun as well as give you swiftness, which is kind of neat. But it doesn't really matter, because they are just meant to either take damage or just do a little bit more additional damage, so you can still do all your dagger stuff. Now in World v World, I sometimes tend to use Conjure Fiery Greatsword, because I'm too lazy to equip my staff, and if I'm on a wall, then Conjure Fiery Greatsword allows not only me, but also another person to, you know, drop down meteors, or from the ground up, dropping meteors on the walls and stuff. But that's just a personal fun preference thing. But you also directly, as fast as you can, after Glyph of Elementals want to unlock Tornado. Because Tornado on the ground is kind of silly, but underwater it turns into a Whirlpool. And underwater combat is shit, but Whirlpool is kind of nice and does an amazing amount of AoE damage underwater. So it makes your life in underwater combat just significantly easier from time to time. So keep that in mind. But the utility skills are the most important. Now, due to the build we have and the integration of the utility skills with Churning Earth 5 here, as well as their own purposes, cantrips are the only ones we can use. We have 4 cantrips available, and these are my 3 favorite. But the other one we have is Cleansing Fire, which is kind of nice, does some damage, but it's mainly used for another stun breaker, or of course to remove conditions on you if you're fighting something that constantly puts conditions on you. They all break stuns, which is kind of nice for all kinds of purposes. Mistform is a nice panic button. Armor of Earth gives you stability and protection, which is very nice. Lasts for 6 seconds, as you can see right there. But it also works during a channel. Now, Churning Earth is our strongest AoE ability we have, in addition to the condition damage that it does and the cripple. But due to the channel, it's very easily to run away from it or interrupt it. Now, when it comes down to interrupting, Armor of Earth can prevent that due to the stability, and you can use Armor of Earth while you are channeling, which is kind of nice. But Lightning Flash is potentially even better, because if I want to use Churning Earth right here, and there's a giant white ring around you then, which basically tells you where Churning Earth is going to hit you. And you'll notice that the white Moa, for example, here is just out of range. Lightning Flash allows you to, during the channel, teleport to a different location, and then, let the channel finish off from that location, so you can relocate your Churning Earth, which is amazing, so people can't get away as easy, or you can relocate yourself for more AoE damage, depending on how the enemies are spread out, of course, which is amazing. And also, if you are stuck in Churning Earth, and let's say a boss is doing a very powerful AoE move, you can then use Lightning Flash to get out, or whatever you want to do. So it all works pretty well. I will demonstrate it on this white Moa here. Churning Earth, Armor of Earth. I want to relocate, boom, and there you go. Hit him full force. That was a Dutch Churning Earth right there, but that's kind of how that goes. Now, before I initiate the skill point itself, I kind of figured to talk the rotation through. Now, this is basically a very basic form of the rotation, and depending on your situation at hand, perhaps more AoE, tough mobs, simple mobs, all kinds of things that matter on how you fight, you have to readjust your usage of skills and such. But I kind of figured that if you have a baseline, from there on out it will speak for itself. So we'll start off in the air attunement, because that's your initiator, as it were. You go in with Ride to Lightning, use Updraft, you knock down the enemy, then you can also generate some space between you due to the fact that Updraft does kick you back. Then you use Shocking Aura, then you switch to Fire, which then allows you to use Burning Speed, because you just generated some distance between you and the enemy. Burning Speed on top of the enemy, drop a Ring of Fire, and then dodge roll if you have a correct position. Otherwise you dodge roll away from the enemy and the Evasive Arcana trigger doesn't work because you are not close enough to the enemy. Also, if it's single target, I tend to use Updraft or Fire Grab, and if it's more AoE based, I then go to Earth and then use Earthquake. Knocks the enemy down. If it doesn't, it's still nice AoE damage. Then I directly go into a Churning Earth, which is the channel. Now, if I know that the enemy knocks me down or interrupts, I directly initiate Armor of Earth as well. If I see the enemy running away, I make sure to have my Lightning Flash ready. If it's not necessary, it is not. And after Churning Earth has hit and it's done, or it has failed but it's still done, I do another dodge roll. And at that time, it kind of depends what you want to do. Have you taken some serious damage? Go to water tuned, heal yourself up, heal your team up, take a breather, go from there. Also, if you are in water, you have another aura to trigger, or conditions to remove, or even just to apply some vulnerability. But if you can just keep on going, then I tend to just go back to Fire and use some Burning Speed, Ring of Fire, Fire Grab if possible, do another dodge roll, or go to Air first and trigger another Shocking Aura, another Ride to Lightning, which is kind of neat. And then when Earth comes back up, I tend to Earth and dodge roll when I can, and if his churning earth is back up, I use that again. So depending on how long the fight will last, you will find out that you can't keep up a basic rotation all of the time. So you have to basically think for yourself and feel what the best next attunement for you will be. But the initiating attunement, which will kill most enemies in the world itself and very weak enemies, is lightning, fire, earth, and then either fire or lightning again, or if you want to do some support or just want to buff yourself again with an aura, water is also very, very awesome. So let's just show it off and get going. Alright, so updraft, enemy is down, burning speed, dodge roll at single target, do a fire grab, go to earth, dodge roll because I want a better position, knock the enemy down, start the channel, and as you can see I can do another right with mining, a bit early because the aura is a bit off, but as you can see, burning speed, another ring of fire, dodge roll. I don't want to have cripple, so I can get rid of that, get another fire, dodge roll. Let's see, shock auras back up, dodge roll away so I can use burning speed back in, another ring of fire, then I want to slow him, another aura. Just make sure to get some stability because he is in his animal form. I'm not sure if they can knock me back, so use another churning earth. Updraft is back up so I can knock him down again, generate some distance, ring of fire, fire grab, and there you go. It seems very chaotic, and now that I think about it and I speak for myself, it does put me at a disadvantage because I slow myself down, because due to the chaotic nature and the fast-paced combat that you have as a Dagger Ellie, and the fact that you don't really want to have any downtime, if you start really thinking about your decisions, you're already too slow sometimes, especially if you have 30 Arcana. So you just have to learn it, but that's pretty much the gist of it. You want to have some kind of synergy between all your attunements and make sure to use blast finishers, because if you use Ring of Fire within, or the Earthquake within Ring of Fire, you get another might stack, as you can see right there, because blast finisher. So you want to keep those in mind, and then after some experience, it becomes second nature, and then you start to destroy pretty much everything while you can't really get destroyed. So it works really well. Anyway, that's it guys. Make sure to try it out. Let me know what you think. And make sure to check out the in-depth guide that I will try and link in the description box below. And I will catch you guys next time. Take care.